In Chilgok, a small city located in North Gyeongsang Province, South Korea, a sports complex was recently built. There are 8 athletics tracks and tennis courts and 1 soccer stadium. 35 billion won was put into this sports complex. However, even though a large amount of money was put into it, this sports complex isn't doing its job well. It actually meets most needs required for national championships, but none of them were held there. The only championship that was held in this sports complex was amateur soccer championship. In the example, tax was not used wisely. Many people do talk about how bad the government spends tax, but the way the government collects tax is also what the citizens should care about. More than just wasting tax like the example, there are fundamental problems in South Korean tax collection system. First of all, income tax intervals have to be fixed. South Korea has selected a progressive tax rate system in which tax rate gets higher as income increases. The basic form of this system is very efficient. However, there is an irony in the system. As you can see in this chart, 38% of tax rate is applied to people who make more than 150 million won a year. This also means that if someone makes 150 billion won, his or her tax rate will be the same as a person who makes 150 million won. Even though there is a big difference in their yearly income, the percentage of tax they pay from their income is equal. Since there are so many people who makes more than 150 million won a year, there is a necessity of fixing this old income tax interval system. There is only one way to fix it, by increasing the number of intervals. Instead of applying 38% of tax to people who make more than 150 million won, we should subdivide the intervals. For example, apply 40% of tax rate to people who make more than 150 million won but less than 300 million won. And apply 45% of tax rate to people who make more than 300 million won but less than 450 million won, and so on. So as you can see here, the irony of the income tax system can be resolved and tax can be collected in a more equitable way. The second problem South Korean tax collection system has is the irrationality of electricity tax and the difference between residential electricity price and industrial electricity price is the reason why. South Korea's policies on electricity are focused on supporting industries, since industries were one of the most important factors during South Korea's economic development. However, their support seems to be excessive. Industrial electricity price is much more cheaper than the residential electricity price. While it costs 120 won per kilowatt for residential use, it costs 76 won per kilowatt for industrial use, which is about 30% cheaper. Of course, it is obvious for the government to support corporations while the nation is in its developing stages. However, South Korea is not the case. South Korea is no longer a third world nation. Supporting developed corporations is a total waste of money. Now is the time to support the citizens instead of corporations. Therefore, raising industrial electricity price and reducing residential electricity price seems to be the rational solution. Thirdly, corporate tax is also a problem that has to be solved. Corporate tax is a type the corporations, which means companies, pay to the government. The nominal tax rate is 24.2%, which is an unadjusted tax rate. The problem is that effective tax rate is much more lower than that. Effective tax rate is the amount of tax corporations actually pay to the government after benefiting from government policies, favors, etc. For example, even though the nominal tax rate is 24.2%, Samsung Electronics only paid 15.6% after benefiting from government policies, which resulted in a 1,700 billion won reduction. Many people say that the reason why the government is doing this is because high tax rates might cause various limitations to corporations' activities. However, this is a wrong fact, since there are so many successful corporations in many countries where tax rates are much higher, such as the United States, Japan, and Germany. Therefore, policies that benefit big corporations such as Samsung and Hyundai should be abolished. Then effective tax rates will get higher, and the government will be able to collect more tax from corporations. As a result, reformation is necessary for a rational and equitable tax collection system. Increasing the number of income tax intervals, raising industrial electricity price, reducing residential electricity price, and lastly, abolishing policies that benefit corporations are the main policies the government should strive for. Solving those fundamental problems in South Korean tax collection system is definitely what the government should do for the economy and for the citizens. Thank you.